The Runner and Gunner Show. We're running and gunning and saying our thoughts, though we have different minds. At the same time, we bring the song to help your mind grow in the mental. Give knowledge with advice plus all essentials. So if you haven't heard, then act like you know. It's the Runner and Gunner Show. Runner and Gunner Show. The Runner and Gunner Show. Gun.
Right here. Monday morning cracks. Monday morning cracks. Yeah, so now we got everything going on.
I got a whole lot of things I want to say.
Happy Monday, February 7th, 2022. And how are you? Fine, and thank you too. Yeah, things are going great, and things are only going to improve in time. So we got a lot of things to tell you guys today on the Runner Gunner Show. So you got to listen up close and listen to what we have to say.
We got a bunch of things to tell you about here on the Runner and Gunner Show. And first of all, the main entry of the show is going to be Friday the 13th, the game for the PlayStation 4. Believe us, we trust us when we say that it came out on the PC about 7 years before it got released on the PlayStation 4. But the PlayStation 4 version was
the
ultimately
one that's going on.
That is where it's all about.
Yeah.
And that is what is going down. And so we say that even though the Nintendo Switch put out a version that was quite possibly a million times better, the online play which you need to succeed this game isn't quite there. So that's why we resort to telling you that the later is not as good as the former. PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4 is the one who started it all in Welcome to Camp Crystal Lake, 1979. I'm going to chop off your head and crack your spine, and he's going to murder everything that's around. And the online servers are still cracking in this one, even though it's the best game that ever came out for the PS4.
It really is.
And 5.
I actually bought a PlayStation 4 because of this game, which used to be called Summercamp on the PC for Steam when it was in development, if you guys don't remember. But in case you don't remember and you need a copy of this game, it's called Friday the 13th, the game.
And don't forget, Summer Camp was amazing. Summer Camp, before Friday the 13th actually got perfected, in the early stages of Friday the 13th, you used to be able to actually go up to your friends, and you could stab them, and you could actually hit them with the baseball bat in the head, and they would show the brains come out of the head, and they would be splatted, and you could chop off, you could decapitate them. But this was in the early stages of the Friday the 13th game.
Yeah,
and eventually they took it off. Yeah, they debugged that part. Yeah. And that was to me that was pretty much the funnest part. Friendly Fire was probably the best part because it was fun. Being able to take out people that...
It made it more like the movie.
Yeah, it made it more like the movie.
Yeah.
Because not everybody gets along every single time. And so not all the gamers got along every single time when you play with them. You're your partners, and now you hit your partner and nothing happens. Zero damage unless Jason comes around your town, your camp ground, and grabs you by the neck and says... good night.
Yeah, I grew up with the little brother, so I definitely am in favor of Friendly Fire because me and my little brother and I, we used to have so much fun with Friendly Fire still on, beating each other up on Battletoads and freaking Streets of Rage and
Double Dragon.
Yeah.
All those old
even Mario picking each other up and throwing each other off. Even on the Nintendo Wii, we used to have a blast just killing each other because it's the most fun thing to do. And if you had the Super Edition of Friday the 13th before they governed that off, that ability was actually the most fun ability, and people get pissed and you lose points. Yeah, but it was all worth it, and it was all fun and games.
It was so fun just to be able to take out your people. It was fun, and everybody did it. It wasn't like it was a big secret out there. Everybody was doing it, and everybody was taking out the other person next to you because it was the greatest thing to do. Who else wouldn't want to do that? And plus,
it's like the movie.
It's not like you're trying to help Jason. You just it's just fun.
I think it's more like the movie.
Yeah, it is.
Just
it's more in real life,
going hysterical, and
more human emotions.
And because
and
of
if
that,
you choose to collaborate, then do it. But if you don't, they should bring that back. That's the worst part about Jason to me, is that they took that off, because without that, the game to me completely changed, and they need to bring that back, because that was probably the funnest part of the whole game at the beginning of the whole game.
But of course, if you are like Runner and Gunner and I, we like to hit people with the cars, which you could still do. It's a very hard achievement to do, but if you can, get the keys, put the gas in, put the battery in, start the car up, and smack some innocent counselor with your car, then let me tell you, you are a G. You are good at the game, and you could do anything on that game that you want.
And even though it gives you negative 1,000,000 points, it doesn't really matter, because you had fun running him over, and that's the satisfaction of the whole game and you're not even trying to help Jason. You're just trying to have fun with the game. It's just a game, and you want to have fun, and you just want to have a good time.
Yeah, and also, you could, it was called Summercamp. Just a couple of years ago, back in 2011, when it was in development on the Steam. And I followed it. I remember in 2011, my brother showed me. He was like, "Hey, yo, this game is called Summercamp."
Gunner actually followed it. Wow.
He's all, this game is called Summercamp, and
give
it's
us some
got
of the
Jason.
details of what is going on with this Summer Camp, because a lot of people don't know that Friday the 13th was actually called Summer Camp when it first came out.
Okay. So, yeah.
What are the details? What was different from Friday the 13th now to Summer Camp then?
Not much, but a lot of good differences, like different maps, different costumes. There was a developing set of counselors. Mm-hmm. The game was still developing. It seemed at times a little bit more violent. It seemed like the blood and gore factor was a little more extreme.
Yeah.
It seemed like they kind of took that away. Jason was also overpowered. He wasn't even called Jason. He was called like Tiki Man or the Masked Killer. And he was extremely overpowered. He could see you in the camp no matter what.
Tinky Blinky.
Nonstop, which made it, to my opinion, even better than the game is now. That you could constantly see all the counselors, which, if you pay attention to the game, you can hear all their steps. So it's kind of still in the game.
Yeah, pretty much. And then he has that infrared type of deal where he could look at them, but it runs out, but it lasts a whole long time compared to what the counselors don't have nothing, Yeah. They don't have anything. All they do is pick up their weapons, maybe possibly get a key and get the car and try and drive off or run somebody over or call the police with the little, what is it, a pole? I don't know what it is, a little voltage thing, and you put the volt thing inside the box.
And the boat.
And, and they got the boat. You could actually escape on boat, but that's risky also.
Get the mom's sweater and kill him with Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys aren't familiar with the game,
it's pretty rough.
It is a cat and mouse based game, maybe the first of its kind, the few of its kind for certain, about you are the killer, and there's 8 people who are counselors, and you got to chase them all down and kill them one by one without letting them escape. By calling the cops, calling Tommy, killing you with your mother's sweater, driving away in a car, or driving away in a boat.
In a boat.
If the game would have progressed, which we'll be talking about a little later, it probably would have had flying airports.
Okay, so it would have been Jason in space, and they would have Super Jason. And Super Jason actually was called Jason X. You remember Jason X?
Oh,
when
Jason
he was in space? Man, that Jason would have kicked everyone's butt. This was
they were going to develop
This was like Jason on roids. So they were getting ready to put Jason on roids. And this guy was going to have like a super axe, and he was just going to be faster and better, and it would have just been domination on Jason's side towards the counselors. Counselors would have had no chance whatsoever. And this is a true story about what happened to it. What happened, but they ended up getting legal problems. We don't want to get into all that, but
we'll get into it later on in the second half of the show.
But yeah, they were on their way to be something bigger than any game of all time. They were trying to make themselves the biggest game that ever happened. But the kills are still the best kills out there. As in the most violent kills that you can see.
What's your favorite kill, Runner?
my favorite kill would probably be the fire kill when they put their head in the fire. So Jason grabs the person, the victim, and he puts their head and he pushes them with his foot into the fire pit, and you just watch their body dangle while their head gets deep fried like a turkey in the oven.
I got two. First is the body slam, where he grabs you by freaking your legs and he grabs you by the throat. And he throws you down on the floor like Hulk Hogan, but you die. And the second one is the bird feeder, where he puts your head on the bird feeder and he smacks it with the back of his fist, and he kills you.
Yeah. And then he also has that one where he chops their arms off. Remember, he chops off their arms. And then he has that one where he throws the axe in their forehead.
What about the one
where he kicks them and he throws the axe to the forehead like a boomerang?
Yeah.
And it goes
like a tomahawk.
And he tomahawks it perfect, like how when they have the axe throwing contest to the wood, like they have the axe throwers, they have that contest where they throw the axe to the wood.
Axe throwing.
But this guy throws it perfect right in the middle of their freaking forehead, and then he looks at them and just pulls it out and walks away as they die.
What about the one where he throws the machete on the ground and then he pulls you by your legs through the machete all the way until it cuts you completely in half?
Whoa. Right between the legs, too. Oh, woo. My Lord.
It's in the game. It's a mature audience game. If you're 13 years old or older, play. If you're 15 or younger, then what are you doing playing that game? Anyways, it is a game. It is not Dead by Daylight. It is not Dead by Daylight. That is a separate, completely different game.
That's a different one.
Completely. Dead by Daylight is with the number 5 on the cover, right? Number 7 on the cover. And it's a different game where you run around as the Scream Killer.
It's also a cat and mouse
Leatherface. It's kind of a cat and mouse, but it's first-person shooter.
They have way more killers, but at the same time, the violence isn't as strong as it is.
The gameplay is just 2 first-person shooters chasing each other around a map.
Well, actually, it's first-person shooter as the killer and third as the...
That's right.
As the survivor.
Yeah, that's right. That is what it is.
So it's first and third, but...
So the counselors are still the counselors, but Jason is freaking Halo.
First person,
Captain Chiefs.
So, yeah.
Which the Halo show is coming out pretty soon. Mm-hmm. If you want to check that one out, I bet it'll be pretty good and worth watching. It's
probably going to be the best.
But we're going to be talking about this, and we're going to be talking about the legalities that the Jason franchise caught itself in, and all this and more
after these commercial breaks. What a beautiful day. I'm going to jump in my Rolls Royce and see where it may take me.
I'll tell you what's a beautiful day. What you got to do is you got to buy this Rolls Royce. Don't what are you doing renting it? It's only $250,000. You make that in like 3 months. So why don't you get yourself up and ready? Because this Rolls Royce is how you live, baby.
Well, I'm putting all my money in. Nobody's going to college, and I'm just going to live here myself. Martini's coming out of the drive seat and having a great time.
Rolls Royce. Monday morning class. Woo!
There is nothing better than Monday morning cracks on this beautiful.
Watch me now.
Let me just say one thing real quick, that we had a solar shower. And it was going over in New York, and they're supposed to be seeing some crazy stuff. And across the country and the world, we're supposed to see stuff. So this is true.
Incidentally, if you've seen the movie Don't Look Up,
Don't Look Down,
you should probably watch it because it's like Tim Burton's Mars Attacks.
Yeah,
which was a very funny movie, except for Michael J. Fox was in that one, and Michael J. Fox ain't in this one, but just as good. And maybe, perhaps, arguably even better, Leonardo DiCaprio headlines this one as the weird Michael J. Fox character.
Who? What?
No.
Anyways,
Mars Attacks.
So this one is about...
Don't Look Up.
It's about Martha Simpson. I mean, let's get into what we were talking about before, which was Friday the 13th. So
Friday the 13th,
run by a little group, small tiny group called Gun Media, who were the creators of everything that Friday the 13th ever did. And what was big about it is they ended up getting some tiny little bitty small lawsuit.
Ooh,
and the lawsuit
was
so bad that they had to kind of stop and slow down the game. What year was this, Gunner? This was back in like 18, 19?
It was
something like that?
Back in the old West days.
Or was this back
in... A man named Victor Miller sued. He was the writer of the original Jason movies.
Vicky Miller?
He sued the producers for selling his character. And he fought the man. He won.
So it was actually the producer of the Friday the 13th part, the original, I believe, right? Because they had so much of the scripted stuff of Friday the 13th Uno, which was way back in 1980. So why are they suing this little tiny video game that's just trying to, come up and actually trying to help the film progress within time? So they're trying to actually capture the new generation of followers of these kind of cool horror films. So they weren't trying to do anything negative towards the horror films. They were just trying to, get your attention and say, hey, look at this. This is kind of cool. Isn't this better than the horror crap that comes out nowadays? And the kids were agreeing and saying yes. And they were actually playing this game. And you could even find younger kids nowadays playing these games. And it's a trip. So this whole lawsuit, nobody knows what's going on. But who fought the law?
Jason fought the law. Jason, the game, actually had to get deleted. They couldn't make any more progress on the game. Delete. There's no updates on the game. No more Jason. It is a obsolete game. It does not exist on the blockchain any longer because they sued it off.
That's sad in so many ways because this game was the most fastest, greatest progressing game of all time. Of all time? Can I say of all time? Yes, I'm saying it. I'm saying it of all time. I thought this game was going to be the best game I've ever seen in my life. I even bought a big old 100.
It was the best game ever.
Freaking.
When it first came out, everyone knew that the game was changed.
To watch this game.
And they should make Halo. Like every game should have a cat and mouse mode. Like Halo, like if you were Chief Keys and then you're all the little soldiers and you got to run around base in freaking Jason mode. Jason! Not that Halo perspective, that first person, but the third person perspective that Jason has.
Yeah.
And he perspectives all the counselors.
Let it out.
And those counselors are, the servants of Master Chief.
Perspective.
Perspectatory positions.
So, when the preliminary thing was that Jason was supposed to be its own game, and then these people came and brought the law into it, and they ended up being sued by, Gun Media ended up sued being by the guy you were saying, and
Victor Miller.
Victor Miller sued Gun Media, and so what happened is that they got in a big old freaking fight, and I heard that it was only because of them using too much of Friday the 13th Part 1, because there's so many different, there's different directions. Everybody was different. There was even different Jasons. If you actually look it up, there wasn't one Jason. There was not one Jason in Friday the 13th. One was, of course, the mom, but 2 and 3 was a whole different person. And 3 and 4, I don't know how many there were. There was a lot of different Jasons, so there wasn't all the same character. So what it comes down to is, why are they hating on this game that was so great and it was going to make so many people happy, but yet they halted it. Halt!
It was the most violent video game ever made.
Pump your brakes.
And people were like, hey, that's too violent. You got to stop. And that's pretty much what happened, but... Did you also know that it was made by the Unreal Engine, yo?
The Unreal Engine!
Unreal Engine
is a big
video game.
Yeah, it's a big
But I remember back in the day when it was called Summercamp.
Summer.
And it was a different game, and you only heard about it on Steam. You didn't know what was going on. You're like, hey, what's this Summercamp game? Have you heard this Summercamp game? It wasn't have you heard Friday the 13th, the game, and played it for 7 years. It was freaking, have you heard this game in development where you get to be Jason? It's called Summercamp. and you were
Summer
Jason.
camp.
And I looked at it and I was like, hey, you're Jason. And then I saw him doing the kills, and I was like, oh,
wow.
That's what?
Yeah.
And then I saw that you have to chase counselors around while they're defenseless.
Around.
Or are they? And then I realized, can you kill Jason? And I didn't know. And I knew that game was a hit.
I know, and it took a long time for actually people to figure out how to kill Jason, because it wasn't like an instant thing. But then once people figured out, you had to have Tommy there, and you had to have a girl with the sweater on, all this, difficult stuff.
That's it.
It wasn't as easy as, I'm just going to go up to Jason and stab him in the face. No, you got to have the girl there, you have to have Tommy there, and then the girl has to say the mom's lines. And then Tommy comes in and slashes him. See, he doesn't even have his gun, because Tommy, when he comes with a couple, a health pack and a knife to stab Jason in the neck and a gun. But he doesn't even have to use the gun to kill him, which is a trip. He has to actually have a butcher's knife to kill Jason. So Tommy has to come equipped with the butcher's knife and a girl, and it can't be a guy, which is another trip. It's another crazy thing, because a guy cannot kill Jason, so it has to be a girl, because the girl is the mother's voice and has to fake Jason out. And then she says, Jason, come home, blah, blah, blah.
Yep,
and then Tommy comes in and stabs him in the face.
Or he could shoot him.
But the
secret ending is you got to get the butcher knife with Tommy, and he'll come and fix everything up.
Yeah, so that's the good ending, and that's the truth. But the thing about the whole lawsuit thing was so horrible, because things were progressing in this game, and they were about to be the greatest game of all time.
It was progressing.
It was about to be the greatest game of all time. But then what happened?
They were adding things and adding more things.
Yes, every freaking 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, they were having new add-ons, new maps, new skins, new characters. It was like, wow. Kills. Everything was going on. And man,
in 2017 it stopped.
And then all of a sudden
it got sued. And that was it. And the game Among Us is kind of like it. There's also a couple little puzzle games that are kind of like this Jason game.
Kind of, but not
is no
equivalent
other game.
Not even equivalent. I mean, kind of equivalent, but not equivalent.
Maybe Halo Part 1.
Maybe, but that don't have enough blood, guts, and glory. But the stabs, I mean, this is still, even now, you got to go play it now. You people,
on
everybody out there,
4.
We're guaranteeing you, go on your PS4, go on your Switches, go on your 5s, go on your Xboxes. Play this game, and if you play this game, you will have a fun time. I guarantee you that, especially if you are Jason. If you played it and didn't have a fun time, wait until you get Jason, because once you get Jason, even if you get one kill, it's satisfaction. You'll just feel happy that you got somebody, and then you do some crazy stuff, and it just feels good. It feels like, okay, I accomplished this part of the game.
Isn't it so great just to pleasantly, run away from Jason, or if you're Jason, slaughter the counselors. But the game is a cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
And there's a version of it on Nintendo Switch. Of course, though.
Which is the better graphic.
PlayStation always makes certain that Nintendo Switch gets the version that's not as good as every other version. But I want to tell you that this version was the best, at least graphics-wise and physicality-wise, and everything in between that. The graphics are dulled down, and the frame rate is a little slower. But it is a better game because it's in slow motion, baby. You're freaking socking fools like it's real life, not like it's fake video game land. And the coding, not the coding, but the layers of skin on top of these graphics in this game on the Nintendo Switch are just completely monumental. You should just download it. It's only like $39. There's still kind of an online community. There's probably the same 20 people in your community altogether. But still, you can get down. You can just keep on killing each other and learn, and then who knows? Eventually buy the game for PlayStation 4.
So what Gunnar is saying is get it now on the Switch.
5.
And then get it now on the Switch. And then judge it by that. Judge it by the graphics and not by the graphics, but by the physical movement. See how much quicker it is, and then play it on your local, everywhere else, and see what the difference is, and you will be satisfied with what your outcome is on your Nintendo Switch. At the same time, everybody Switch. Just play what you gotta play on this Jason game, because Jason is all about murdering, and he's just about killing, and it's a crazy whole thing that they have going on in this. And it's the setting is like Crystal Lake. It's every, I think from 1 to 3, it's all the murdering spots where he lived. But he actually got killed in Crystal Lake. So that was the place where he wants revenge. Reemerge from that lake. And then he was like, I'm not going to be fake. I'm going to kill everybody else who is awake. So he would kill every counselor that was around, as long as you're not a little kid. And sometimes he did murder little kids. We're not gonna lie. He was a freaking ruthless killer, but he could be better than that now, because
that's what happened.
He has been rehabilitated.
All right, everybody. It was the best game anyone's ever played. If you want to play Jason, or as we like to call it, Friday the 13th, on your PlayStation 4, go ahead and download it. Sometimes it's free for on sale. And you get your little selves up there and you get on the community. This is an amazing game. It's got physics like no other. It's for the Nintendo Switch. But of course, Nintendo Switch got the bad end of the stick, and so it's not as good as the PlayStation 4 version.
Yeah.
But the PlayStation community is so grand that this game is the best right there and then. So download it from there.
Yeah.
You can always be prepared for everything that comes next. Remember, you heard it first, the review on the Runner and Gunner Show.
And now, let's see about Predator. So Predator was pretty close to
the game.
To Jason. That was a successor. It was a successor.
Gun Media.
Yeah, successor, and it was trying to be just like Jason, but at the same time, they had too many power-ups, and it's very hard. Like when you first start, all these other people, all the soldiers have way more power-ups than you. So it's rough to be starting, and it's hard. You got to learn so many buttons, and a lot of people were just pissed off at the Predator game, but it's still a great game.
Not as good as
and it's amazing.
Call of Duty.
It's pretty close to being as good as Call of Duty. I would say that it might be just a little bit better. If you can master it, then you are the master of Predator. And if you are, then hit us up at the Runner Gunner Show.
Runner and Gunner
at runnergunnershow@gmail.com.
runnergunnershow@gmail.com.
And that's where you can let us know whether you think that the Predator game or Friday the 13th is better. You pick one. Also, we already pick ours.
I heard that there's a Leatherface game coming out.
Leatherface is coming out.
And it's made by Gun Studios.
Which is also Chainsaw Massacre.
The same people who brought you Jason now got license and money to provide the same game to a Leatherface situation.
Wow.
Are you prepared for this? It's coming out for the PlayStation 5, I'd imagine. And if you don't have a PC yet, get yourself a PC. If you want to buy yourself a $5,000 PC, then you better buy it now, because it's the perfect time to buy before it goes up in sale.
Everybody, but now it is time for the best part of the show been listening that you guys want to hear.
Everybody wants to hear.
We call it the 2-Minute Rundown. And now
it is
the 2022 Beijing Olympics. So the Olympics are USA. If you guys are not rooting for the USA, I don't know where you are, because we are rooting for the USA.
Rooting for Greece.
There is so many things about skiing. There is the skeleton. There is the freaking, the flying carrot. Shaun White. There is so many people that could kick butt in the U.S. Olympics.
Also, the Super Bowl is coming up.
So China is our
Super Bowl,
competition.
Olympics.
But we love them.
Super Bowl. Tom Brady's out. He just retired.
Tom Brady is retiring.
The Olympics has started.
And we love Tom Brady too.
They already started the opening games. we saw the opening act. It was, hey, one day home.
Amazing.
And it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It was the best.
I'm glad to see that the world is together. And we're finally, you know, even
and they
though
gather
you know,
for these Winter Olympics.
Like you guys and you don't like
and
us.
It's in China.
We're still gonna chill.
Yeah, you know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. United.
We realize how big the world was, and the Olympics have showed that.
Yeah,
just how big
uniting for these
were.
games is,
and the games that have come up.
Beautiful thing.
Have already been amazing.
Yeah, and the start is now, so you guys got to get out there and watch them. You can watch them on several channels. We're not going to keep promoting channels, but there are several channels. But the Super Bowl is coming next week, and the Rams are in their hometown of Los Angeles,
versus the Bengals,
which we recite, and the Bengals are pretty freaking strong. So it's going to be a competition. I'm not saying they're going to get blown out, but you know, if the Bengals walk like Egyptians, they might just pull it off.
Will the Tigers be walking like Egyptians while the stone writings on the wall say that there's gonna be some Tigers who walk like Egyptians, man?
So if you guys want to know all that stuff and more, we will give you more next weekend on the Runner and Gunner Super Bowl special. So tune in till then.
The Runner and Gunner Super Bowl Spectacular.
So you guys got to tune in until then. And until then, have a wonderful Monday and a wonderful week. And just remember, we love you guys. And everything you do, make it great and make it amazing.
Yep. And also there's this movie with Christopher Lloyd, who plays Doc in Back to the Future with Martin McFly. And him and Ben Affleck are in a movie directed by George Clooney. It's a very great movie. I suggest that you go see it because it's really cool and they got some good music in it. But on top of that, I love you. God bless you. And hope be with you all inside your pockets in the form of a nice gold coin.
And we love you from the Runner Gunner Show. Enjoy your Monday.
I love you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Perfect.
Solid. Runner Gunner, not responsible for any injuries, postponements, or collateral that may occur during or post segments of our entirety of the show. You are now or have been listening to. We would like to add any involvement with similar subjects in the show are completely coincidental and may or may not be facts. We would also like to thank you, Lennox.